Hello friends, James Stevenson here with a video for the Tesla long-term investor community. If you like a good long-term Tesla price target analysis, I found one from an account maybe not all of you follow. It's Kris R at Tesla_evolution. So that's an account that needs more followers, I think. I'll check in with my co-host Loki, whose head has popped out of the frame completely. He is up and alert and listening for noises in other rooms. You can keep an eye on Loki and the Loki's bedcam right here while I turn my attention to this thread posted by Kris R at Tesla_evolution with his, I'm going to assume that this is a male, with his Tesla 2030 conservative, self-described, base case price target of $1,219. He threw off a lot of people in the comments below with this decimal where a comma would normally be, using the European notation for thousands here. And it's not that long a thread, so I'll just go through and show you Kris's assumptions for Tesla conservative base case. So here are the price targets by year. So you can see steady growth from where we are today to 2030. This was posted earlier in June. So you got a table here, full O numbers for those of you who like numbers. I'm going to keep the pace of this video really strong and just show you each of these slides as we go. You feel free to pause and read every one of them if you want. Kris is using a PE of 65 in this analysis and has a note here explaining why. So here's the automotive segment. That's the first segment in the chart. We've got that growing, or Kris has that growing, from less than 1 million Tesla annual vehicles delivered by model back in 2020 to 2030 sales of more than 8 million, it looks like, including an unnamed model, a van, a compact, the Roadster Semi, Cybertruck, Model Y, Model 3, and Models S and X, with these numbers shown in the table. Here's another slide about automotive, showing Tesla automotive revenue growing by year to these amounts by 2030. With Tesla automotive gross profit also rising as profitability improves. And here's automotive, slide 3 of 3. We've got that unnamed vehicle over here with a question mark, and the van and the compact still under wraps, as Tesla revealed them at Battery Day a few years ago. Here's one for Tesla Energy. Tesla Energy is going to ramp up over time. There's a power wall here pictured, but mostly it's Megapack that will be driving Tesla Energy's growth as utility scale energy providers snap up those huge semi-truck size batteries to use for battery backup. And the services and other segment is also modeled out here, which is good. You've got an FSD set of assumptions here. So FSD take rate is going to grow from nothing 2020 through 2024 to larger and larger numbers over the next 5 years or 6 years. Then we've got estimated end of year total fleet versus number of FSD customers in millions. So you can see that trend improving over time as more people buy the full self-driving package for their Tesla. Tesla will make more revenue, and as we know, the profit margin is extremely high on full self-driving. The more of them you sell, the more of that money will fall to the bottom line as profit. Then you've got robotaxi assumptions. Always fun to see how people model this out. I posted CERN Basher's robotaxi model in a video a couple of months ago now, I believe, so you can go dig into that one if you want to get a really deep dive into the robotaxi business and what it's going to look like. The numbers do get really nutty really quickly if Tesla can get a lot of robotaxis on the road, in addition to the 5 million that are there already, with every Tesla made since October 2016 having the hardware necessary for full autonomy on board, just needing a software update, an over-the-air software update, to become robotaxis. And then you got Tesla Bot, of course, right? So here are the assumptions laid out for Tesla Robotics. Humanoid robots could be a huge market with big revenue and gross profit potential in the future if Tesla can be done with the research and development on the Optimus robot by 2030. Then we have a familiar looking chart over here for Tesla quarterly revenue, maybe not as colorful as the one that I do. The same style layout and the same kind of growth into the future that we have seen over the past, 15 years, with Tesla growing from a very small company, indeed, at IPO, to a very large company, a very big component of the S&P 500. And here's some notes on below the line expenses, selling, general, administrative, restructuring, and other, research and development. You need to model those if you're going to make an income statement. And here's what the net income looks like. So there's your net income numbers. So EPS and price targets shown here. So 12 trailing month EPS gap diluted is shown here. The 2023 gap numbers were not aided by that one-time $6 billion item. You would see that in the non-GAAP EPS, that there was an improvement from 2022 to 2023, but really it was driven by that one $6 billion item, without which there wouldn't have been growth. It would have looked more like this chart looks. So you can see the EPS expectations here rising to nearly 20 bucks a share by 2030. And a few concluding slides here. So really professional looking work here from Kris R at evolution_Tesla. I wanted to make sure that I show these risks pages here because he bothered to include them. And of course this disclaimer page with a really sharp Tesla logo in the back. Hey, there's a quote from me here. The first and most liberating rule of forecasting is, whatever you forecast, it will be wrong. So this forecast will be wrong, as all of my forecasts have been, and as all forecasts made by anyone ever have been. If you forecast 1,000 numbers, there's no way you're going to get them all right. Even if you manage to get a few of them exactly right, some of your forecasts will be wrong if you make a forecast with more than just a couple of numbers. I guess it's possible to pick a number and hit it, but if you make a detailed forecast, it's going to be wrong to some degree or another. Then we've got product assumptions here. For just letting you know what assumptions went into this analysis that kicked out these numbers. And that's the whole thread. So I wanted to get through it pretty quick. Sorry I didn't go into a lot of detail on what assumptions Kris made and what numbers specifically got kicked out. Feel free to go back, pause the video if you want. Loki, anything to add to this video? Really, I just wanted to let you know this thing's out there. If you're a big fan of Tesla price target models and looking forward to 2030 to see how things might be different, here's another good resource for you. I will leave a link to this thread anywhere I post this video, or try to remember to, and if I don't, you should find it and reply and post it so people can find this information and peruse it at their leisure. Be sure to follow me and subscribe. You can click a bell for notifications if you want to do that. on X or on YouTube, wherever you're watching this video. And a special shout out to my two executive producers, Kenty Kitchler and Rebellionaire.com, and I'll see you in the next one.